The emergency room at Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio, Texas, had seen chaos before, but nothing compared to the afternoon when military helicopters thundered across the sky one after another, carrying critically wounded service members from a devastating training accident. Alarms echoed through every hallway as doctors and nurses rushed into position, believing the hospital's younger trauma specialists would once again take control. In the middle of that storm stood 63-year-old Dr. Margaret Collins, a quiet surgeon whose gray hair and calm posture made many assume her best years were behind her. Some whispered that she was too old for trauma surgery, too slow for modern emergencies, and better suited for teaching medical students than standing under operating room lights. None of them knew that hidden behind her peaceful smile was a battlefield history few had ever heard, a history written in blood, courage, sacrifice, and impossible decisions made during the darkest days of war. Before this incredible story continues, if you believe people deserve kindness instead of judgment, and that experience should never be underestimated, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that remind us never to give up on others. For years Dr. Margaret Collins had quietly worked at the military hospital after retiring from active service. Younger surgeons admired her knowledge but rarely asked about her past. Hospital administrators respected her but slowly assigned her fewer emergency cases, believing younger hands offered quicker reflexes. Medical residents politely thanked her for advice while secretly wondering whether she still belonged inside the trauma unit. She accepted every change without complaint, choosing humility over pride. Every morning she arrived before sunrise carrying the same weathered leather bag she had owned for decades, greeting janitors, nurses, and patients with equal warmth. She never spoke about awards, medals, or deployments because she believed the greatest victories were the lives that continued long after surgeons removed their gloves. As helicopters continued landing outside, the hospital reached a breaking point. Every operating room filled within minutes. Senior administrators desperately searched for available trauma surgeons while younger physicians became overwhelmed by the number of patients arriving with life-threatening injuries. Blood supplies were rushed through hallways, nurses sprinted between rooms, and families gathered in waiting areas praying for miracles. Dr. Margaret quietly walked toward the operating wing, prepared to help wherever needed, but one administrator gently suggested she supervise from outside instead of participating directly. The words were respectful, yet painful. After giving her entire life to healing others, she was being asked to stand aside because of her age. Before disappointment could settle into her heart, military police suddenly cleared a path through the entrance. A helicopter carrying Lieutenant General Thomas Harper touched down with an emergency casualty who had suffered catastrophic internal injuries during a classified inspection flight. Every available trauma surgeon was already operating. The situation became desperate. Someone mentioned Dr. Margaret Collins was still nearby, though uncertainty filled the room. The general himself, despite his own injuries, immediately recognized her name after reading the staff list. Without hesitation he insisted there was only one surgeon he trusted for a case this severe. Years earlier, during fierce combat operations supporting troops from the United States in Fallujah, she had saved countless wounded service members under impossible conditions. Many soldiers had quietly called her the Surgeon of Fallujah, a title she had never shared with anyone back home. The room fell silent as memories resurfaced among older military officers present that day. Long before modern trauma centers, Dr. Margaret had worked inside temporary surgical tents where electricity failed without warning, supplies disappeared overnight, and incoming casualties never stopped. She had operated through exhaustion, explosions, and overwhelming fear while refusing to leave wounded soldiers behind. Her calm leadership had inspired frightened medical teams to continue when hope seemed impossible. Yet after returning home, she never sought recognition. She simply resumed serving wherever people needed healing. Hospital leadership immediately handed her surgical gloves. Without hesitation, she entered the operating room, her movements steady and confident. Years of experience returned like instinct. Every incision was precise. Every decision came without panic. Younger surgeons watched from nearby stations, amazed at the calm authority she carried. She guided nurses gently, anticipated complications before monitors detected them, and transformed chaos into coordinated teamwork. Time seemed to slow as everyone focused on preserving one precious life. The operation stretched for hours. Outside the operating room, anxious families waited alongside military personnel who silently remembered stories from overseas deployments. Inside, Dr. Margaret never allowed fatigue to control her concentration. She repaired damaged blood vessels, controlled severe internal bleeding, and carefully reconstructed injuries many believed were beyond saving. Her hands, criticized only hours earlier for being too old, displayed extraordinary precision earned through decades of sacrifice rather than youthful speed. When the final stitches were completed and stable vital signs appeared across the monitors, relief swept through the room. Nurses quietly wiped tears from their faces. Several younger surgeons admitted they had witnessed one of the finest trauma operations of their careers. The general survived, not because of luck alone, but because experience, patience, and wisdom had been given one final opportunity to prove their value. News spread quickly throughout the hospital. Staff members who had once overlooked Dr. Margaret now approached her with deep respect. Medical residents asked to learn from her. Administrators reconsidered retirement policies that unintentionally pushed away experienced physicians. More importantly, countless young healthcare workers realized medicine was never measured by age alone but by compassion, discipline, and the willingness to continue serving despite personal sacrifice. In the weeks that followed, Dr. Margaret began leading advanced trauma training sessions where she openly shared lessons that no textbook could teach. She explained that technical skill could save a patient, but kindness could save an entire family from losing hope. She reminded young doctors that every unconscious patient lying before them represented someone's child, parent, spouse, or lifelong friend. Her greatest lesson was simple yet unforgettable: confidence should never replace humility because every life deserves the same determination regardless of rank, background, or circumstance. The general eventually returned to the hospital walking with assistants. Instead of requesting a private meeting, he visited the crowded medical classroom where dozens of residents were learning from Dr. Margaret. Standing before everyone, he publicly thanked the woman who had once refused recognition during war and had once again chosen service over pride. He explained that true heroes rarely introduce themselves because their actions always spoke louder than their names. The room erupted into heartfelt applause, but Dr. Margaret simply smiled, embarrassed by the attention, believing every member of the medical team deserved equal gratitude. Months later, the hospital unveiled a new trauma education center dedicated not to celebrating war, but to honoring courage, compassion, and lifelong service. The plaque carried only a simple inscription reminding future generations that experience is not measured in years but in lives touched. Every young surgeon passing through those doors remembered the story of the woman many believed was finished until one extraordinary day revealed the truth. If this story has touched your heart so far, please take a moment to like this video, share it with your family and friends, subscribe to the channel, and let us know your thoughts because stories like these continue only through your incredible support. Special request: please comment below with the words, "Experience never gets old," if you believe kindness, wisdom, and courage become stronger with time. As the sun set over San Antonio, Dr. Margaret Collins quietly left the hospital carrying the same worn leather bag she had carried for decades. She walked past young doctors laughing together, grateful that they now understood something far greater than medicine. Strength is not always found in youth. Greatness is not always loud. Sometimes the person everyone overlooks is the very one capable of changing countless lives. Her story became more than a tale of one remarkable surgeon. It became a reminder that every human being deserves respect before judgment, every lifetime of service deserves gratitude before criticism, and every second chance has the power to inspire generations. Long after the applause faded, people continued remembering not only the title she once earned on a distant battlefield, but the quiet heart that never stopped healing others, proving forever that true heroes grow stronger through compassion, not age.